Been a while. Um, I really, really do enjoy doing lives. It's one of those things. It's like going to the gym. It's like, oh, you think, oh, I've got to do this or what have you, and you put yourself under pressure. And then when you're there and you're doing it, you really, really enjoy it. So if you're on, say hello. I can see a few people turning up already. Make sure you say hello. It'd be great to hear from you. It's always good to know that I have wonderful people along. If you're on Facebook, if you're on LinkedIn, Twitter, any of those, make sure that you give me a name because it doesn't always show up on the chat. On Instagram, it does. How we all doing? Come on, let's hear from you this morning. Not even one comment yet. Loads of people joining. Not one hello. Yes, thank you, Anita. Good morning to you. How are you? I hope you well. So, what I'm going to talk about this morning is the audition process. And really, what we want to do is break it down. Think, how are we going to maximize on the audition process as an actor? Now, the thing is things in this industry change so quickly, so fast. It's just ridiculous how things are changing constantly. And we both need to be across it and think, right, how in my career am I going to be able to ensure that not just being across it, but maximize on all the opportunities? Okay. Emmanuel says, hey, how are you, mate? I hope you're good. So, the audition process in 2023, I'm in my gym gear. But I thought, who cares about what I'm wearing? Just get on and speak to people. If anybody wants to add anything at any point, just feel free, okay, to join in. It's great to have you along. So, in 2023, stroke 24 as we're going to 2024, the audition process works like this, doesn't it? It is literally, let's just face it, let's call it this. It's more or less 100% self-tape for a preliminary audition. It's about 60-70% recalls are also on Zoom. Some of them are in person, but the majority of them are on Zoom. And then, really, as far as the audition process goes, as we know it, and I'm being very general here, so don't worry, okay? As far as the audition process goes, when it's coming to that point now where they've pretty much whittled it down and they want to do a chemistry test or get a few actors in to try different combinations of actors or meet people, that's now becoming pretty much the final audition. So as a general rule of thumb, that's how the audition process is working at the moment. A lot of actors just have not caught up and maximized their ability on Zoom. We got my actors at MZA pretty much got on that relatively early, like literally the week after lockdown. I realized Zoom is a thing, got on Zoom, made sure that I knew exactly how to use it, what to do, and how to maximize that for my actors. Mr. Rogers, how are you? Mark says, sun is shining, start a new month, and it's great to be alive. It is. Love that. So Zoom is something that actors really need to maximize on. Okay? The problem is with Zoom, it's brilliant, right? Because you can have a really well-framed performance. If you're in an audition room and they stick a camera and you're that far away, honestly, you're going to get a genuinely better idea of an acting performance when they're in frame like this, just off. You really are, okay? When you're in an audition room and you're under all that pressure and somebody sticks a camera on you and you're further away, it's not actually as good as Zoom. It's the same thing with self-tapes. Self-tapes and Zoom auditions are so beneficial for you if you are a good actor. It's as simple as that. The reason why a lot of actors say, oh, I want to be in the room is because, I don't know, maybe they doubt themselves and they want to do, they want to win people over. But what you've got to remember is in the audition room, The casting director is really making a tape and recommendations and sending them off to a decision maker. So why not actually be at home in an environment that you feel comfortable in, that you can maximize on, and therefore maximize on your audition in the comfort of your own environment? Okay, does that make sense, everyone? Has everyone started to come round to that realization? The few other benefits, self tapes, for instance. A few tips on self tapes is look, get nice and close and just off camera. Not there, not there, just off. Because where do you engage mostly with people? Where do you really get them to feel a connection with you, both as an actor and as a person? With your eyes. If your eyes are all the way over there, and I see self tapes like this all the time, it's pointless. Literally just off camera. Just off camera. Brilliant. And do you know what? Zoom naturally does that perfectly. If you're on a laptop, you're looking at a camera there. If you're on a phone, you're looking at a camera there. Okay, or you're looking at the picture there and the camera's filming you there even. It does that perfectly for you, and it gets you to connect with the people who are watching your performance so well. So what you need to do for the rest of 2023 and 2024 is you need to maximize on two things. Literally put all your focus into two things. Make sure that you are the best self-taper it's possible to be. Make sure that when you're in your own environment, you're disciplined and you put all of your training into effect, even though there's nobody there and there's not as much pressure. Make sure that you use techniques like transposition, which we teach at Matzina Acting. If you know, you know, okay? Make sure that you film it incredibly well. Make sure you're not scared to take risks on self-tapes. Yes, blank backgrounds are great if you haven't got the location, but my God, if you've got the location, make it feel more realistic. I say to my actors, look, if it's a scene at a dinner table, get to your dinner table. Just chill out, man. All right? Don't just do everything on blank background. Basically, you want to get them to imagine you doing the role. Why not? If it's a scene in an office, I've got an office here. I'm going to use it. Okay. So make sure that you take risks with your with your self tapes. Why not? Okay. Has anyone got any comments? Thank you so much. Natasha says, "Hey, these videos are fab. So much value. I really appreciate that, Natasha. Really do." Rogers, very well. Searching for voiceover work. Yes, you are, because you're a legend. This is brilliant advice. Thank you so much. I'm really glad you think that, Anita. Genuinely. So maximize on self-tapes. Make it, don't kind of get that kind of feeling where it's like, oh my God, I've got a self-tape. Turn it around and go, right, self-tape time. And really look to master it. Make sure that you are genuinely editing it well. You've learned. Put the homework in. Okay? Your job as an actor now is so multi-skilled. You really do need to know about your cameras. You need to know about your quick edits on your phones, the technology there, getting the max. For instance, like getting the, if you've got an iPhone, getting the maximum resolution and making it look as good as you can, cinematic mode, all of this stuff. Make sure you know it, because you can use that. Because if it looks cinematic, it's going to be more. It's going to be easier for them to imagine you doing the role, won't it? All right. Really, the effect that you need to think about is you need, when they watch it, you need to then go, right, if I just change the camera, that's pretty much what I wanted, that person, that performance, all of that stuff. Right, should self-tapes be done as soon as possible, or take your time and get it right and send it just before the deadline? This question came up actually at the weekend. We had the Hollyoaks casting director, and this question came up. I can't say, I only say in private what I would like to be able to say, but basically get it in as soon as possible. Okay? Get it in as soon as possible, as a general rule. Make sure it's incredibly good, but make sure you get it done quickly. All right? I won't tell you why that is. It's just a general rule of thumb. It will always get you success. All right, that's all I'm saying on that one. So yeah, If anyone's got any questions, no problem at all. With regard to Zoom auditions, this is the thing. You have to be good on Zoom. Imagine, you know, the whole Zoom problems and not mute, or you're muted, right? Don't let don't get into a Zoom audition and be that kind of annoying person that doesn't unmute or doesn't look good, doesn't have their head in the middle, doesn't have enough lighting. Make sure that you genuinely are really good on Zoom. You've got a good connection. You've tested it. Really focus on it, because you don't want to be that person that looks like they don't know what they're doing, but it's really they do know what they're doing. It's just that they don't know what they're doing on Zoom. So what they'll do is they'll parallel the fact that you know what you're doing on Zoom with they're going to know what they're doing on set. So make sure that you don't have any excuses in that regard. Practice on Zoom. Do Zoom. In fact, here's an offer. Anybody that's not with MZA, you can have a free Zoom acting class on me. There we go. Just DM me if you want to practice your Zoom and have a free Zoom class with us. Have one. Okay? Just get in touch. DM me. I'm good like that. Emmanuel says, how does TV and film auditions work? Do they do self-tapes, callbacks, then chemistry reads before casting? That's exactly it. That's exactly how it goes, mate. High-end TV, film, Netflix, it's self-tape. It's callback on Zoom, or sometimes even a second self-tape, but usually callback on Zoom, then callback again, and then the chemistry read in-person audition. Okay, so yeah, absolutely right. Anita says, is it better to have learnt the lines, or is it occasionally referring to the script is okay? Look, Anita, let's face facts. I'm not one to pussyfoot around, okay? Let's face facts, Anita. Nobody ever gives, okay? What have I done there? Oh, I see. It's an AI thing. Nobody ever gives as good a performance when they are not off script. It's as simple as that. And the problem is you're going to go up against people who are off script and who put that time and effort in. So if you were one of my actors or one of the actors that I mentor, you learn it. And that's that, because other actors will learn it, and you want to be in that top 10% and being really considered. So for me, even though you'll do casting director workshops and things like that, and they'll be incredibly kind and they'll say, we understand about, let's face it, at the end of the day, you can learn it if you really want. So, and you want to give your best performance. Everybody knows you give your best performance when you're off script. So learn it. It's as simple as that. So really good question, but get off script. That's, I can't put it any other way. Has anyone else got any questions? It's great, this. I'm really enjoyed it. And then in-person auditions, look, it's just about the energy you bring in the room. Having a good energy. Think, how do I want them to feel? And bringing that energy in. Be confident. Make sure that you fill them with confidence. There's a saying that I've got, and it's a psychological trick. And it's just, nobody ever really remembers all of what you say, but they always remember how you made them feel, whether subconsciously or consciously. So if you're the type of person that walks into a room and leaves that energy and emotion and get them emotionally feeling like, wow, I like them, I trust them, and all of that stuff, then you're going to have a really, really good chance of getting that role, because you'll be remembered. Good old Alexa. Okay, so you have to make sure, you really, really do. I've got a parcel coming. How professional is that? I'm going to have to go get it. Look at that. Hey, I'm back. It's fine. I didn't even think that was still a thing, but it was Jehovah's Witnesses coming to talk to me about, I don't know, whatever they talk about. But there we have it. That's been a while. This is how you should start as a Zoom call. Love that. I think it would be lovely to get feedback after a casting. I know this is not possible for everyone, but I think for child actors, it would be nice. Anita, I disagree. I really do. I really disagree. there's a few things with that. One, um, the reason why people want feedback or actors want feedback is because they're looking for objective technical things that they could do better. Okay. But the problem is objective technical things, you wouldn't get into that audition unless you could do those objective technical things like the acting things, right? And the self tapes and all of that. The rest of it is subjective, right? And having subjective feedback is not helpful to anybody because it's basically based upon likes and dislikes of an individual person. So the casting director could say, well, I like this and I dislike this. But you could then do an audition for Ridley Scott. But Ridley Scott would love exactly the same thing. So you would ruin your career, or you would ruin a young person's career based on subjective feedback. And they would stop doing certain things that actually somebody else would like. Objectivity is about 20%. Subjectivity is about 80%. The thing is, you do not get into an audition unless you can do the 20%, the objective things. The rest of it is just subjective, likes and dislikes of individual people. You cannot, and literally, I will not. I will never ask a casting director for feedback from any of my artists because you would only get subjective comments. That is worse for an actor, okay? Because that's all it is in the audition room. It's subjectivity. Does that make sense? Okay. So, like I say, I don't always say what people want to hear. I always just tell them what I feel the truth is. Okay. Let's have a quick look. Yep, you just have to be wholly yourself and trust that if you're not the one looking for, you get the role. Your thing may not work for my dystopian stuff, but work for Tyler Perry, etc. Okay, interesting. I hope that makes sense. All right. So, but that's a really good point. And I think I'll finish off on that. Is when you go into an audition room, you are literally just giving a performance, a presentation of what you think that particular performance, that scene, that character, which is basically you, let's face it, would you'd like to present it. You're giving them an option. That's it. That's all your job is an actor. It's like, right, and one actor will give their version, you give your version, another gives their version, and that just gives the casting director, the director, producer, 3 different options. That's all you are doing. Okay, that is it. Doors going off again. Okay, so make sure that you, 1 second, guys. Another. I love this. This is brilliant. This is like absolute live in Matt Zena office, household, whatever it is. So that was actually deliveries for my wife that time. So there we go, and there was a lot of them, scarily. So I'm going to have a word with her about all of the deliveries. Let's have a look at some of these comments. Thank you so much for being along with me. It really, really does. Yes, it wouldn't take a lot of time. No, that makes sense. Thank you. Everyone is rooting for you, really. Absolutely. I hope you learned something there. Dylan, do you still enroll new students? Love your craft, man. Thanks for sharing. Dylan, get in touch. DM me. Absolutely. Okay. It'd be great to have you along. And do you know what? Anybody who's watching this that isn't a member of MZA, like literally we talk, we've got a different language. We've got a different way of doing this that you've probably seen just from this conversation. And I'd like you all to try it. So if you just DM me and just say, Matt, brilliant, loved your live, or maybe didn't like your live, I'm not bothered, but I like the way that you kind of do things, or etc. Then I will let you have a free trial acting class, whether it's in London, in the north, online. You know, we talked about practicing online Zoom. So just get in touch, DM me right now. Just do it. Just DM at Matt Zena Acting, and I will make sure that you get a free trial class on me. Okay. Freddie on YouTube Live says, "Hey Matt, some great tips there. Thank you. Really appreciate it." Anita, this talk has opened my eyes. Very interesting. Thank you so much. Well, I'm going to do some more this week. I'm going to try and do every single. No, I'm not going to try. You should never say try. I'm going to do every single day this week at a similar time. So make sure you're on and join in. It's all about your version. You are not going. You are going not going for the job. You are showing your version. Exactly, mate. That's brilliant. You're welcome. Imagine doing that for 20 auditions. Exactly. Loving this conversation as a member of Indian film industry, Bollywood. Oh man, tell me more about that, Amrita. That's amazing. My surname is actually Indian, and I was actually brought up on a few Bollywood films. I can never understand them, but I had a grandma that lived in Bradford that was Gujarati, and kind of used to watch Bollywood films. And yeah, I was kind of brought up watching them when I used to go visit, and used to. So absolutely love the Bollywood film industry. It really does. Tell me more, okay? Is it okay to send a couple of different takes for the same scene? Great question, Harriet. Absolutely, you should. Okay. But we had a casting director come talk to us at MZA, and we have loads of casting directors come to speak to us, and she said, "Don't do any more than 2. Like literally, don't do any more than 2." You know, she said that personally. Probably best to follow her advice. You just have to find your niche. To be honest, you're spot on. You're spotting it all. I get that, right? Writer Brooke, exactly. You've got to know exactly who you are. What do you market? You know, what is it you market? There's no point in selling something and you don't even know what the product is. Do you know what I mean? You need to know what your product is and then sell it. All right? Do you still enroll new students? Absolutely, of course we do. Dylan, get in touch. Anita says it would be way too much. I'm glad I heard this today. Amazing. I genuinely like your energy. Thank you. Really appreciate that. I got an X in mirror. Does that count? Okay, I don't know what you're referring to then, but it's made me laugh anyway. It even sounds funny. Right. So there's a few things really to that I want to offer you on the back of that, and I think I've done it throughout. And that is, look, free trial class. If you like what we do and the way that we present information. Look, we're here for you. We're here to help actors. We're affordable, professional acting coaching that we kind of like make it accessible to all. So make sure that you get in touch, all right? Because and I always start with free trial class because I want to make sure we're right for everybody. We don't push people. So genuinely get in touch, DM me. I want to see loads of DMs in my inbox, and we'll get you sorted out and get that free acting class to you, whether it's in London. We're in London on Saturday, so if anyone's around in London, I'll give you a free class then. Online classes, Zoom, and we've got classes in the north of England. So just let me know, all right? I'll be in touch. We've also got an academy where we get visited by casting directors, and that's audition only. So if you want to be part of our specialist academy for, you know, the kind of higher end actors that are kind of in this industry and emerging fast, we get visited by casting directors on a monthly basis, where you perform for casting directors. So you're perfectly welcome to send me kind of an audition, whether it's a monologue or a self tape that you've done that you've got permission to send me that, and I'll kind of consider you for our academy as well. But otherwise, get in touch. It'd be great to hear from you. I might send an actor your way. I have a few over there. I'll see if they're interested. Writer Brooke, you are a legend. Right, I'm going to do this again tomorrow. I've so enjoyed myself, and I'm glad you have. Sorry about the parcels. That's been amazing. But that's, I suppose, what lives are all about. Have an amazing day. Make the absolute most of it, and I'm going to do this again tomorrow at similar